At my own engagement party, his family called security on me. His mother said, "This woman does not belong here." While 200 guests watched, they had me thrown out like a criminal. What they didn't know was this: the security company, the venue, the catering company. All of them were mine. I owned everything they were standing on. Before the story begins, if you enjoy cold-served revenge stories and seeing people get what they deserve, make sure to hit the subscribe button right now. Get ready to watch unlimited revenge-filled stories. This story is about to go completely off the rails, and believe me, you don't want to miss what happens when they realize who I am. Stay until the end, because that moment when the truth comes out, priceless. My name is Sophia Hart. And for this story to make sense, there's something you need to understand. I am not the person people think I am. When most people see me, they see a woman trying to live a simple, modest life. They see my modest clothes, my practical car, my simple lifestyle, and they make assumptions. They are wrong. Very, very wrong. I am the founder and CEO of Hart Security Solutions and Hart Event Management. Together, the two companies are valued at $340 million. We provide security for half of the major events in New York. We manage venues in 3 states. My company employs more than 2,000 people. But here's the thing: almost no one knows this. I don't appear in the press. I don't use social media. I don't plaster my face on billboards. I learned early on that when people know you have money, that's all they see. They no longer see you. They only see dollar signs. I did not grow up in wealth. When I was 12 years old, my father died, and my mother worked 3 jobs to keep us afloat. I wore secondhand clothes and learned to fight for everything I had. When I was 18, I started working as a security guard at event venues. I was excellent at my job. I watched how events were managed, how security was coordinated, how the money flowed. I saved every dollar I earned. I saved every single cent, took business classes at night, and by the time I was 22, I had started my own small security company. Exactly 6 years later, I had built my empire. While doing all this, I never forgot where I came from or what kind of life I had lived. But despite this wealth, I continued to live simply, keep a low profile, and test people to see who they really were beneath the surface. This is how I met Derek Walsh. I met him 14 months ago at a night event. I had gone there to check the security team. I was wearing simple clothes again, black pants and a plain shirt, looking like one of the staff. Derek, on the other hand, was a guest working as a financier at a large firm, dressed in a custom-made suit. We literally collided next to the champagne table. We literally collided next to the drinks table. He apologized. We talked. He made me laugh. He asked for my number and I gave it to him. I introduced myself to him as Sophia Hart, an event coordinator. That wasn't exactly a lie. After all, I did coordinate events. The only difference was that I was also the owner of the company. For the next year, we fell in love. Or maybe only I did. Derek was attractive, successful, funny, and attentive. He never really questioned why I wasn't interested in expensive venues. He always thought I was practical and down to earth. Honestly, that was a perfect thing. 3 months ago, Derek proposed. It was simple and romantic, just the 2 of us on the beach. The ring was modest. It wasn't flashy. It was one I had chosen myself. But it was very beautiful. I said yes because I believed he loved me for who I was, not for the wealth I didn't show. He wasn't in love with the empire I owned. He was someone who truly loved me, just for being me. I was someone who made bad jokes, was terrible at cooking, and loved old movies. Yet he loved me despite all of that. Or at least, that's what I thought. 2 weeks ago, Derek came to my apartment looking uneasy. His family wanted to throw an engagement party for us. More specifically, His mother Patricia had insisted. It was supposed to be a nice thing, but at the same time, it was going to be a big party. It needs to be done at the right venue with the right people, Derek said. He looked embarrassed as he said it. My mother is very particular about these things, he said quietly. She has specific ideas about how things should be done, and she's already organized the engagement venue and everything. I asked questions like where and how, feeling confused. Everything was happening so fast. Saturday, the grandeur mansion, 200 guests, catering company, security, event coordinator. She's arranged everything, he said, and I was shocked. I told him it was too much, but he said, "This is normal for our family. The grandeur mansion, my venue, my staff, my security team, my catering company." And Patricia Walsh had absolutely no idea. Mrs. Patricia Walsh had absolutely no idea. I felt something cold settle in my chest. This was a test I hadn't planned for, but it was happening anyway. "Do your family know what I do for a living?" I asked nervously. Derek shifted uncomfortably. "I told them you work in event coordination. My mother thought it was something like waitressing." I tried to explain, but she didn't really listen. He hadn't corrected her. That was the important detail. He allowed his mother to believe I was of a lower status than them and said nothing. "Derek," I said slowly, "do you want me to meet your family as I am? Or do you want me to show them who I really am?" He looked confused. "What do you mean?" "Nothing," I said, making a decision. "Never mind. I'll meet them on Saturday." That week, I made phone calls. That week, I made phone calls. I called Marcus, the head of security at the grandeur mansion. "Marcus, there's an event this Saturday. The Walsh engagement party. I want full details about everything. Who booked it, what they requested, how they're treating the staff." Marcus knew me well enough not to ask questions. "I'm on it, boss." Then I called my executive assistant, Helen. "Helen, I want you to pull all the contracts for the Walsh event this Saturday. Venue rental, catering agreement, security contract. I want to know exactly what they signed." "Is everything okay, Sophia?" "I'm just doing a little research." By Friday night, I had the full picture. Patricia Walsh had rented my venue in her own name, demanded the most luxurious options, and treated my staff absolutely horribly. She had called the event coordinators incompetent, rejected 3 different menu proposals, and told the security team they looked unprofessional. She had no idea she was belittling my people, my staff, my company. Oh, this was going to be very interesting. Finally, Saturday evening arrived. I stood in front of my closet, making a choice. I chose a knee-length navy blue dress. Elegant, but definitely not something custom-made. Simple jewelry, modest heels. I did my own hair as well. I tried to achieve a natural look. In the end, I looked in the mirror and had achieved the simplicity I wanted. I was a normal person. Not a company CEO, not a billionaire, just Sophia. Derek came to pick me up, but he looked tense. When he saw me, something flickered in his eyes. Was it disappointment or concern? But he told me I looked very beautiful. The drive to the grandeur mansion was quiet. Derek kept fiddling with his collar. "Listen," he finally said. "My family can be a bit intense. It can be like that, especially my mother. She has strong opinions about certain things. Just try not to take anything personally, okay?" A red flag. A massive, waving danger sign. "What kind of things could she say that I shouldn't take personally?" I asked. "She's just very traditional. She has opinions about what's appropriate and what's proper. She means well." "Derek, do your family think I'm good enough for you?" Silence. My answer was right there. As we approached the grandeur mansion, my heart was pounding out of my chest. This place was my favorite venue, my pride and joy. I had bought this property 5 years ago, when it was practically a ruin, and turned it into one of New York's most sought-after event spaces. The grand entrance with marble columns, the crystal chandeliers visible through the windows, the perfectly manicured gardens. All of it was mine, built with my money, my vision, and my hard work. And tonight, Patricia Walsh was hosting her party here, treating my staff like servants, completely unaware that every single person in this place ultimately answered to me. We entered through the main doors. Immediately, I noticed 3 members of the security team. Jackson gave me a subtle nod. I gave him the slightest shake of my head. Not yet. Let things unfold. The ballroom was breathtaking. My event team had done an incredible job, as always. White and gold decor, massive floral arrangements, tables set with fine porcelain and crystal. There had to be at least 200 guests, all dressed to impress. Women in designer gowns, men in expensive suits, jewelry sparkling everywhere. And then, there was me, in my off-the-rack dress. The moment I walked in, eyes turned toward me. I felt the stares from every direction. Whispers floated through the air. Derek's hand found mine, but his palm was sweaty. "My mother's over there," he said tensely. I looked, and there she was, Patricia Walsh, standing in the center of the room as if she owned the place, wearing an emerald green dress that probably cost more than most people's monthly salary. Her neck and wrists were dripping with diamonds. Even from a distance, it was obvious they were real. Her hair was styled in an intricate updo, her makeup professionally done. She held a champagne flute like a weapon and surveyed the room the way a queen surveys her kingdom. In reality, this was my kingdom. And when the time came, everyone would know it. But for now, no one had any idea. When she saw Derek, her eyes lit up. Then she saw me. And that light vanished, replaced by darkness. Her expression shifted from delight to confusion, and then, within about 3 seconds, to something that closely resembled disgust. Her expression changed. As she started walking toward us, everyone was watching. When she reached us, I realized this night was going to be unforgettable. "Derek, sweetheart," Patricia said, glaring straight at me while kissing Derek on the cheek. Her eyes were cold, assessing me, judging me. "And who is this?" The way she said this was the beginning of the humiliation. Derek cleared his throat. "Mom, this is Sophia, my fiancé. Sophia, this is my mother, Patricia." I extended my hand with a warm smile. "Mrs. Walsh, it's wonderful to finally meet you. Derek has told me so much about you." She looked at my hand as if it were trash. She didn't shake it. "Oh, really?" she said icily. "How interesting. Derek, sweetheart, didn't you tell her this was a formal event?" She looked me up and down with undisguised disgust. "She looks like she crawled out of a clearance rack." The tension in the room began to rise. The people standing nearby stopped talking. Everyone started watching us closely. I felt heat rush to my face, but I didn't break my posture or my composure. "Oh, I knew it was formal," I said calmly. "This is actually one of my favorite dresses." Patricia's face twisted. "Your favorite?" She turned to Derek. "Where exactly did you meet this girl?" Before Derek could answer, his sister Veronica appeared. She had a sharp, cruel beauty. Her red dress was probably worth $5,000. "Oh my God," she said loudly, circling me. "Brandon, please tell me this is a joke. You brought this to my mother's party?" Phones came out. People started recording. After all, this had gossip value. We could be all over America by morning. Derek shifted uncomfortably. "Veronica, stop it. Sophia is my fiancé and what?" Patricia cut him off. "You thought it would be appropriate to bring someone who clearly doesn't belong here?" Her voice rose. "Look at her, Derek. Just look at this girl. She's embarrassing you. She's humiliating all of us. A woman in a silver dress stepped closer. Lauren, one of Patricia's friends. So this is the girl you told us about, Patricia? You know, what was it? The one who works in event services? She said it the way someone would say cleaning toilets. I work in event coordination, I said quietly, fully aware of the irony of the situation. I was, quite literally, the owner of the very venue they were standing in. Lauren laughed. Event coordination. That's just a fancy way of saying waitress, isn't it? Everyone started laughing. Patricia smiled like a shark. Let me be very clear, sweetheart. My son comes from a very special background. He needs someone of a certain caliber. Someone with pedigree, education, and connections. Someone who belongs to our world. She leaned closer to me. You are nothing. You saw an opportunity and tried to cash in. You're a gold digger. And then it happened. Patricia threw the champagne in her hand straight into my face. The cold liquid hit me like a slap, running down my hair, my face, and soaking into my dress. I stood there in shock, humiliated. Gasps rose from the crowd. Even the people who hadn't been filming pulled out their phones now. I could hear people live streaming. Oh my God, the mother-in-law just threw champagne in the bride's face. Derek finally spoke. Mom, this is too much. Oh, is it? Patricia snapped. This girl wants your money, Derek. She's a leech. And I will not stand by and watch you throw your life away on someone so far beneath you. Veronica grabbed my arm roughly. Her nails dug into my skin. Get out, now. I pulled my arm back. Derek, I said softly, champagne still dripping from my chin. Are you going to let them treat me like this? He lowered his head and stared at the floor. My heart turned to ice. The man I loved wasn't defending me. Who had I gotten engaged to? Patricia's voice cut through the murmurs. Security, get this woman out immediately. That was enough. 2 security guards approached me. I recognized both of them, Johnson and Martinez. They had been working for me for 3 years. Johnson reached for my arm, then froze. His eyes met mine and went wide. Ms. Hart? He whispered. Patricia didn't hear him. I said throw her out! What are you waiting for? At that moment, my head of security, Marcus, pushed through the crowd. A massive man, built like authority itself. 6'3", pure command. He looked at me standing there, champagne dripping from my face, and his expression darkened. Boss, he said in a clear, powerful voice, are you okay? The ballroom fell into silence. Everyone went quiet for a few seconds, as if they needed time to make sure they had heard correctly. Boss? Patricia's voice was sharp with disbelief. What are you talking about? Throw this woman out immediately. Marcus didn't even look at her. He kept his eyes on me. Ms. Hart, would you like me to escort these individuals out of the premises? I slowly, deliberately wiped the champagne from my face. Not yet, I said, my voice cold and controlled. I turned to Patricia, whose anger was now being replaced by confusion. Mrs. Walsh, do you know who owns the Grandeur Mansion? Some company, she said dismissively. Hart Events or something like that. What does it matter? Hart Event Management, I corrected. And Hart Security Solutions. Both companies are owned by Hart Holding Incorporated. I paused, giving them time to process it. I am Sophia Hart, I continued. I own this venue. I own the security company you just tried to use to throw me out. I own the catering company that prepared your food. Everything you are standing on, touching, and looking at right now belongs to me. The room froze. No one spoke. The color drained from Patricia's face. Veronica stood there with her mouth open. Derek looked like he'd just been punched. That's impossible, Patricia whispered. You said you worked in event coordination. I do coordinate events, I replied calmly, because I own the company. I turned to Derek. Did you really think I was just some poor girl? You never once asked what I actually did. You heard event coordinator and assumed I was nothing. I looked back at Marcus. Show them the contracts. Marcus pulled out his tablet and turned it toward Patricia. Venue rental agreement signed by Patricia Walsh. Payment made to Hart Event Management. Catering contract with Hart Catering Services. Security provided by Hart Security Solutions. All subsidiaries of Hart Holding. All owned by Sophia Hart. Oh my God! Derek's father, Richard Walsh, appeared in a panic. He had clearly heard everything. Are you that Sophia Hart? Hart Holding? Your net worth $340 million, according to the last valuation, I said calmly. Give or take. Veronica staggered backward. Lauren looked like she was about to faint. Patricia's legs seemed to give out beneath her. She grabbed a chair for support. No, she whispered. No, this can't be happening. You threw champagne at a woman whose net worth is larger than your entire family's combined, I said quietly. You called me trash. You ordered security to throw me out of my own venue. And worst of all, I looked at Derek. He allowed it. He stood there silently while you humiliated me because he thought I was poor. He was ashamed of me. Watching them be publicly disgraced was deeply satisfying. Derek dropped to his knees. Sophia, please, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know who you really were. And that's the problem, I said, my voice trembling. You're not sorry for what you did to me. You're sorry for who I am. If I truly had been poor, you would have let them throw me out like garbage. I removed my engagement ring and dropped it at his feet. It's over. Patricia tried to speak. Ms. Hart, please. I didn't know. You should know this, Mrs. Walsh, I said firmly. Everyone deserves respect, not just the people you think are powerful. I turned to Marcus. Escort them out. All of them. Cancel the event. No refunds. They violated the respect clause in the contract. Now get them out. Wait, Richard shouted. You can't do this. I can, I replied calmly. I own everything here. Marcus, please escort the Walsh family out of the building. As security began removing them, I walked toward the exit as well. The crowd parted in complete silence. 200 people watched as I left my own venue, my hair still soaked in champagne, but my dignity fully intact. Behind me, I heard Patricia's sobs, Veronica's screams, and Derek shouting my name. I didn't look back. Farewells are only owed to those who deserve loyalty. Exactly 3 months later, I heard that the Walsh family's reputation had been completely destroyed. Derek had lost his job. His company didn't want to be associated with that viral video. The party footage had been viewed 15 million times, and everyone was talking about it. I gave only one interview. Test people the moment they think you are weak. That's when you discover who they really are. No matter how many years pass, I have never regretted that night. I continued to stay kind, to help people, to help children. For more powerful stories of revenge and transformation from pain to strength, don't forget to follow. I look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments.